Hello, my name's Piers Thurston, and in this short little video I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I do and how it works. I work in the area of mindset transformation. That's a very powerful yet different way of enabling people to get more of what they want in their lives, whether that be in their personal and private lives or in their organization and their business. So what is different? Well, for many years I worked as a coach, and I would help people facilitate what I would now call a horizontal change, helping them get more of the things in their life or their work that they wanted in order to be happy and successful. So for example, it might be around productivity or their career or health and fitness or attitude to money or their confidence or relationships, etc., etc. And once they'd achieved that goal, then they could be happier. And to lots of metrics, I would be seen as very successful in what I did. However, a few years ago, I saw there's a different, much more powerful, sustainable and holistic way to enable people to have change and experience true transformation. And that was by facilitating a vertical change, enabling a shift in their understanding of how happiness, success and well-being actually works. So what is that about? Well, unknown to most of us, there is a variable beneath or behind everything that we think, feel and do in any moment of our lives. It's present for all of us and it's there all the time. Now, it affects absolutely everything. It affects how we create our reality in any moment. It affects how we create our experience in any moment. And yet usually, for most of us, it's invisible. And not only is it invisible, but we're normally caught up into a bit of an illusion as to what is creating this variable. So what we have is something that's incredibly powerful, that's affecting absolutely everything, but for most of the time we misunderstand what's creating it and we can't even see what it's doing. So if you can imagine having some understanding about something that powerful, then it's going to enable you to live your life very differently. It's the one thing that can determine whether your life feels like it's full of all those innate wonderful resources like clarity and creativity, resilience, the ability to connect to yourself and to others, an openness to see possibility and meaning, and the ability to be present and in flow. And if when that happens your life feels highly exciting and possible and full of fulfillment, or whether life feels limited and restricted, it feels like it's full of effort and it needs to be controlled, in that you need to have the right events and circumstances and situations happening in the outside world so that you're happy on the inside. So this variable really is underlying and absolutely key to changing how we go about living our lives. And to use a metaphor to help explain this, just to give you a little feel for what this is about, it's a little bit like having an updated operating system on your desktop PC or your tablet device. So often you'll see that your devices are updating the firmware, updating the operating system. And when that happens, everything you've already got on that machine works better. So all the software and all the apps will start working quicker and more seamlessly. But also you're open to new apps. You can download new software, which you couldn't before. So how this relates to the human system is, once you have this shift in your realization about what's creating your experience at any moment, all the current things you've got, your knowledge, your competencies, your skills, become more consistently high performing. They become more accessible and more resourceful. But also, even more exciting and useful than that, you open up new levels of potential and possibility for what's you're capable of on your lives. And what's even more fascinating about working in this way is there's nothing you have to do or practice to get this understanding, to get this realization shift, to update your operating system. It purely comes from a shift in your realization, a shift in your understanding. Now I'm talking about a non-intellectual understanding here. But once you have that new awareness and understanding, everything else just happens from there. Now you might be thinking, surely just an understanding can't make a difference. Surely there's lots of things I need to do. Well, there isn't. It is literally an understanding that makes the difference. And if you want some evidence that that's the case, just pause for a moment and think back in history about other massive shifts in understanding that have created huge difference, whether it's around the understanding of gravity, which enabled us to fly, or the understanding that the world isn't flat and we're not going to fall off the end, and the understanding that diseases aren't passed around by smells, but actually they're by small little things we can't see. Before people knew these things existed, they were still having the effect of them, but they just didn't work in alignment with them. Once they had the understanding, they could work in alignment with it, and that progressed our evolution even further. Now, if you're also thinking, well, this sounds a little bit fundamental, a little bit abstract, and I want to do something that's going to make a real difference, and I want actual results, well, this understanding will get you there. And if you need some proof of that, then you can have a look on my website and read some of the testimonials. All that needs to happen is you just need to press the pause button on your current understanding, on your current busy life, just long enough for this understanding to sink in. And it's an understanding you actually have already, but our conditioning is getting in the way of it. So you just need to pause and just be open to hear something a little new. And once you do that, it does all the work for you. So the difference, just to summarize, between traditional coaching and transformational coaching is traditional coaching tends to be quite linear. So it's about going from A to B. It tends to be contextual, so you'll work on a different area at a time. So it might be your career, your finances, your health. You tend to look at them as individual areas. Whereas in transformational coaching, the change is non-sequential. So it doesn't happen where you get half of it through half of the conversation. It happens through insight, and that insight can create a vertical shift in everything you're seeing. And that enables it to be non-contextual, so it's completely holistic and pervasive. And also it's permanent, because once you have that understanding, you never really lose it. And it also doesn't require so much doing and maintaining. It doesn't require, you don't have to keep it up. Because once the understanding is in there, you're going to see the world differently. And from that different perspective, lots of things open up in front of you. It's very emergent. Whereas in traditional coaching, you almost have to keep at it, and you have to keep maintenance and keep motivation high. So it's a much more effortless and pervasive way of doing change. So that really does leave you with a bit of a choice. You can either pause and open up to listen to something new about how the human system actually works, or you can continue to trying to find better ways to cope with your misunderstanding of it. Now, if something in what I've said in this little video has resonated with you, please check out my website, piersthurston.com, have a look, and then drop me a line, and we can arrange a time to have a conversation so that you can experience it for yourselves. Thank you.